So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a screen recording on an iPad. And it's real easy. Now, most of the time the screen recordings on the iPad is to show an example where you can draw on it, and a computer is where you're going to kind of like show a process or how to use something or how to use a website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Jamboard. So I'm going to just start screen recording. What you probably want to do is you probably want to turn Do Not Disturb on, which is this moon right here. So right now mine's on because I'm recording a video about something. So I'm going to turn it on, and notice my moon shows up here. That means nothing's going to come through, no notifications. So to screen record, you're going to click and hold right here where it looks like record button. Now for our Google Meets, remember we need to click down here and have Google Meet or something else. So it says start broadcasting, not recording. But if that's on, then it's not going to work. So you're going to click Photos. Now your microphone is off. What you want to do is you want to turn your microphone on. Now normally I wouldn't be recording with a camera right now, or like with my phone right now at the screen. I would actually be doing all of this on the screen, and I'll show you what it looks like here because I'm actually going to do a screen recording of my screen recording. So I'm going to click and turn my microphone on. So now it's on. So now whatever I say is going to be recorded in the screen recording. So now I'm going to click off it. Now you can do it two ways. If you click and hold, you can click start recording, or you can just click here and it's going to give you a countdown, 3, 2, 1, and it's going to start recording. And notice that turns red, and then there's a red circle up there. To stop recording, you just click on that red circle, click stop, and it'll stop recording. You'll have a notification up top that says it's saved your photos. So the other way is if you scroll down and you click and hold here, you click start recording, your countdown's going to be here. So again, I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to click here, and now it's going to go off, and that's going to slide back up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Jamboard, and I'm going to do it about global winds. So it's been a minute since I've taught this. I taught this stuff when I was back in 7th grade science. So what I'm going to do is I made a Jamboard, and I'm still recording. So if I swipe down here, notice that's still there recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain global winds, and this would be an activity that I would do with my 7th graders, and I would post the video in Google Classroom, and they can always review stuff because they can always watch this video. So let's say they're struggling with global winds, which, many of them do. So when you're talking about global winds, you're talking about heat rising, hot air rising, and colder air falling. So where is it the warmest? It's always the warmest at the equator. So here's the equator line, and if it's the warmest at the equator, air is going to rise there on both sides towards the equator. Then as heat rises, it cools down. So I'm going to change my color here to blue, and as it falls, it's going to go out this way away from the equator, and it's going to fall. It's going to go this way, and it's going to fall. Now, how convection cells occur is that air rises and falls at the same time, creating these cells. So we're going to change this here. I'm going to show black. And notice both of these arrows are going up at the same time, which means it's pushing the air up there. This arrow is falling. This arrow is falling. And notice it's a mirror image on both sides. So let me undo those black arrows not to confuse people. Northern hemisphere, or at least our sun works, we're in the northern hemisphere. During our winter, the sun is more in the southern hemisphere. So it drives the heating of the earth very unevenly throughout the seasons. So this is an example of how to do a screen recording. Okay, so I'm still doing a screen recording, because look, I pulled down, I'm still recording here. So now I'm going to show you how to stop it. So to stop my screen recording, all I'm going to do is click here. It now stops, or I could have clicked up top if I saw the screen. So now it says screen recording video saved in photos. So let's go to my photos. Here is the video recording that I just did. And notice if I click on if you can't hear it, click on the microphone. And I'm going to do it about global winds. So it's been a minute since I've taught this. So here is my video that I just did and I just showed you. Okay, so now I'm going to continue drawing. Now this video here, I can post into Google Classroom. To do that, you're going to either have to upload it to YouTube and put it as unpublished, or you can upload it to Drive. And then from there, you would take it and put it into your Google Classroom. So, but this video is about screen recordings with an iPad, so therefore that is how to do a screen recorder with an iPad. Alright, I'm going to show you two ways to go about doing screen recordings on your MacBook. So I'm going to use a website called Flipgrid just as the example. That's just the what I'm going to do the recording about that has nothing to do with the actual screen recording itself. So there's a couple ways. There is Screencastify, that at the end of last year they changed some permissions and how many you could have and length and all that kind of stuff. Not sure if it changed back. There's another one called Loom, which is actually what I'm going to show you, because you actually can record, as of what I know, you can actually record as long as you need to, and you can have as many as you want, and it's actually pretty easy to use. I'm also going to show you how to use QuickTime, which is on the MacBooks. You don't even have to have a program for that. So, to use Loom, Loom is in the extensions. So I'm going to go up top here. So when you go to your apps, right here on the top left, when you go to your apps, then you'd find Loom, L-O-O-M, and it looks something like this. So when I click on Loom, it's going to open up very similar to Screencastify. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn. So you have options, screen and camera, screen only, which will still show like a photo here. You can change the photo if you want to. You can change the size of it. So that's some of the options there. You can actually get rid of it altogether, but I'll leave it there. And then up here, you're going to actually do the camera stuff. So I'm going to click Start Recording. You're going to, just like in Google Meets, when you're sharing your screen, you can share your entire screen. Application window, which if I had multiple windows open, then I could do that. Or I can choose a tab. So I'm going to do an application window, and I'm going to click this one and then click Share. It's going to give me that countdown, very similar to the iPad. Now, the one thing I like about Loom is you can pause it. In QuickTime, you cannot pause it. It's either a recording or it's not a recording. So if I want to pause it, I'm going to just pause down here. And notice now I have this gray box at the bottom. Click the resume button anywhere. So here, so I'm going to click resume. And now it's going to get back to me recording about Flipgrid. So I'm doing a recording still right now, so I'm going to do a very quick, kind of go over a couple things. So one of the cool additions to Flipgrid is this thing called Discovery. It used to be called Disco, and you can create a collection of them. But what this is these are all. So this is using Flipgrid, but mainly for my video here is this is about how to do a screen recording. So what I would do with this screen recording, not so much like an iPad where you're trying to draw a diagram or an example or explain something. This would be more like how to do an activity or how to use a website or something along those lines, more of a process. Now you can use it to draw, but then you're just using the trackpad a little bit more. You could do it where you could make an activity and then do like drag and drop or fill in the blank type stuff. So this is using Loom. So I'm going to, for Loom, I'm going to stop. I'm going to click here, finish recording. And notice it's very similar to Screencastify if you've ever used it, where it then has it here. So you can download it, you can add it to Drive, you can trim it, you can add custom thumbnails, so you can do all that kind of stuff. You add passwords to it, you can share it, copy the link and then put it into your Google Drive. So again, that is how to use Loom as a screen recording. Very quickly, I'm going to do the same process, but instead of using Loom, I'm going to use QuickTime. So QuickTime is an app that's on the computer. So if you click on the launch pad here, which is the rocket, QuickTime looks like this. You can click on QuickTime. Then you're going to have to go to File and New Screen Recording. Now, if you want your face to be on there, so there's that still human connection with your students, you can do new movie recording, but you're not going to actually record anything with it. So I do new movie recording. So this is how I have my stuff set up, so I can do a screen recording or a recording about a screen recording, which is kind of normally counterproductive. So I put that there. But if you go off it, notice this box on here. If you go off of it, then it goes away. Now the next thing that's going to happen is if I do this, it goes away. If I go back to here and I'm on my QuickTime and I go to View and I go to Float on Top, this now will be on top even if I go into another application or whenever I'm doing my recording. When I'm doing my recording, it will stay on top. So I'm going to go here. So I'm not doing a movie recording. I'm going to go to File and I'm going to go to New Screen Recording. So you have two options. You can do the entire screen, record entire screen. You can do record a selected portion of the screen. So if you only want to record part of the screen, then just do the selected portion. So entire screen, Selected portion, notice I have these dots here, and I can drag it. So if I just want to record the bottom of the screen for something I'm doing, then I can do that, and I can have my notes up top. But then that's how the recording's gonna be really long. So I normally do it like this here, somewhere in here, okay? So now I'm gonna go to record. Now notice up top, now I have this little, I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a little like what would look like that stop. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click on Google Chrome now. It's not floating on top. Floating on top now. There it goes. All right, so now I'm gonna do a screen recording, which I'm already in, but I'm doing a screen recording about Flipgrid using QuickTime. So now I could talk and explain, and obviously you wouldn't have this camera sitting here in the middle of the screen, you actually see someone's face, okay? And then you can do your screen recording and talk about how what you're gonna do, students. You're gonna go to Wonderopolis, and you're gonna go into Flipgrid, and you're gonna go to an activity I'm posting about Wonderopolis. So, such as Stronger Together, Equal Rights for All, or Weird Stuff. If you want to know more about Flipgrid, there's awesome videos out there. I might even eventually be doing a video about Flipgrid, okay? But then this is more about screen recording. So I'm in my screen recording still. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna click stop. And now it stopped. And now the difference between Loom and Screencastify and QuickTime is actually recording a file. So this is actually you need to go to File and then Save, and it's already saved to your computer. Okay, so it's gonna save to my desktop. So this file is actually not saved on the internet anywhere. It's actually saved to my desktop. So now I need to upload that video to Google Drive, or upload that video into YouTube, unlisted, or whatever it might happen to be. So that way then I can post it to Google Drive because it's actually just on my computer. So that's the difference between using one that's one of the app extensions, such as Screencastify or Loom, versus using QuickTime. QuickTime, you don't have to install anything, you just have to open it up and use it, okay? So there is a couple very quick kind of overviews of how to do screen recordings on your computer with a couple different apps.